Okay. So, I'm probably going to have to buy a tripod for my webcam because my monitor is now too big to clip it on, which is what I used to do. But we are now streaming from the new rig. It is a. I will see if I can show everything on the webcam here carefully. Let's ignore my cup of soda. So there's my second monitor. That's what's got you guys on it. So I can actually see your comments better and not have to worry about futzing with a chat overlay. There's Estella right in front of my PC. You can see it's got the window with the RGB light in it, so you can see the hardware, see the big old fan. Here is the main monitor. This is the 4K 27-inch monitor that the game will be displayed on. And then, of course, the microphone. The fat Pixie. Pixie. Hey, fat one. You're on the camera. Also, be careful. Stella's in here. She might antagonize you. What I have it set up on right now is just sitting up top on here, on top of my desk. If I can get it to actually stay put. There we go. Beautiful. So I tested the rig out without the stream running on Lost Ark earlier. Let's go ahead and put that on my Discord instead of my friend's Discord. There we go. So if you see the link and you want to pop in voice chat, feel free. But so today we will be trying Borderlands 3 again now that I have a new rig, and we'll see if I can just brute force through all the lag and everything that I was having on my laptop. Which is weird because I got my laptop after Borderlands 3 came out, so you would think it would have no issue with it, but you would be wrong. Or, actually, better idea. Let's pull up my YouTube real quick. So let's go to youtube.com and we're going to click change capture. Next. Done. There we go. That is a very odd ad to be put on right there. We're not doing a 3-hour react to the Johnny Depp trial. Let's go ahead and see what Zeppela's got going on. Let's go ahead and make it full screen.
Breathe.
I really just wanted to have a little chat with you about...
Oh, hang on. I can't do anything if I can't hear it. Yeah. So let's replug the headphones. There we go. That seems to have clicked over.
Race and
there we go. Okay.
Everything surrounding that. So Neverland
this is about the Race to World First. This is her comments on it. Let's see what her take is. This most recent Race to World First in World of Warcraft was absolutely bonkers. It took 3 weeks. Everything was overtuned. There were bugs. They had to nerf it and everything like that. She's not a WoW player anymore, and I haven't played WoW since Legion. So I generally just have lingering YouTube recommendations from that. But Zeppela is for the better part of information here, she's basically a Final Fantasy XIV content creator now. So before we do the Borderlands 3 live stream, we will start with a quick react video, because I've never done one.
Let me open up my browser here. Neverland is the winner of the Dragon Song Ultimate World.
Oh, so this is actually an FF14 world first, which, to be honest, I should have expected that, but I didn't, because she also commented on the WoW world first. I thought this was just an ancillary video. I do feel bad commenting on the fact that she's doing this literally right now. But let's go for it.
World race, and this is probably, I think this is the most incredible and prestigious achievement I have ever seen happen in a video game. Honestly.
Okay, that's hyperbole, obviously. World first achievements are nothing new, just in general, but I will say, given the absolute intensity of this fight, that is still a very, at least partially true statement in that this was a very, very hard fight. Like, it's got like 18 phases, and each time you think you kill him, he just gets back up, and you're like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? I have not done this particular Ultimate raid, but I've done the Extreme, and I've done basically all the content below Ultimate. And there's also some revisionist history, to put it mildly, going on here in the raid, not in her video specifically, at least not that I know of yet. This is my first time seeing it. Bit of background about Zepla. She is a American woman who moved to Ukraine several years ago, and she's now hiding out because of the obvious conflict there. And in general, the conflict in Ukraine is an absolute shit show. Millions dead. Well, I mean, maybe not millions. Several 100,000 at least. Mass graves, allegations of rape being performed by Russian soldiers on Ukrainian women. In general, a very terrible thing going on.
I don't know if you've been watching it. I don't know if you've been watching this Ultimate, but it is brutal.
Agreed.
It is the most unforgiving content I have ever seen in an MMO. It's really
I don't know. I disagree with it being the most unforgiving content in an MMO. It is very hard, don't get me wrong. I know I personally could never do that, given my arthritis and lack of reaction time and things of that nature. But, why? Oh, I suppose it does belong in just chatting, but at least for the time being. We'll set it to Borderlands 3 when I go for that. But so I'm not trying to minimize the difficulty of the content that she's talking about here. It is extremely difficult, and I've done but never succeeded in the Ultima Weapon Ultimate, aka Uwu fight, and just how hard that one is. Ultimates are basically the equivalent to Mythic World of Warcraft raids, which I used to do before my health got worse. But overall, it's, again, a very challenging fight.
It is unreal. Well, it's not unreal. It's Ultimate.
Unreal is a step below Ultimate, for those who don't know. They have like tiers of content in Final Fantasy, like they do in World of Warcraft, which is your standard dungeon, your hard mode dungeon, and your standard trials right about on difficulty with the standard dungeon. So it's like standard dungeons and trials, which are like your main story content, and then after that is extreme trials, and so it's like standard dungeons and trials, hard mode dungeons, extreme trials, savage raiding, Unreal trials, which are very difficult. They're basically old trials that have been retuned for max level. And then Ultimate trials, which are designed to be super hard and punishing, but you get really cool cosmetics and weapon effects and mounts from it.
Insane. Okay. Like, you have to be perfect with what you're doing. So I really cannot understate how ridiculous of an achievement this is for Neverland.
You don't have to be absolutely perfect in what you're doing, but it is very punishing for mistakes.
And they cleared this on May 2nd.
Oh, so they cleared it right when I got my new PC.
1455 GMT plus 1. Yeah. So I'm...
Well, here, let's go out of full screen on the video for a second. And let's go to Google. So what time is 14:55 GMT plus 1 to EST? So that would be basically, they cleared it right when my new PC got delivered. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm obviously extremely happy for them.
Back to full screen.
Last week, we were doing some of the Ultimate World Race coverage, the Mog Talk coverage, and I think we did a really good job. Like, I'm very proud of all the casters that took part. But I had seen...
I don't know what Mog Talk is. I think that might be the FF14 developers doing a conference with the players and stuff for news purposes.
Some people that were criticizing it. They've been criticizing how the World First Race is broadcast in Final Fantasy XIV. And I feel like... And part of this is because not all the teams stream their runs. Like, obviously, many people had wanted to watch TPS Prague, and we didn't get to see the Neverland Prague, who won.
Okay, so the controversy she's talking about here is there are certain world first recognized runs where players have been accused of using bots or third-party add-ons or programs because they're not streaming. Now, in my case, I stream and I use the Dalamud launcher, and I have things like XIV Combo, which is not an official licensed add-on because Square Enix doesn't license any add-ons. And what that does is it puts my 1, 2, 3 combo on one button. It doesn't mess with the GCD or anything, so it's not really cheating. It just reduces button bloat. Because if a thing would naturally follow in sequence that's on the global cooldown, it, like in PvP, it just puts it all on one button and just changes it as it goes. So like you would, for a machinist, for example, you would do heated shot, and it would change the button into split shot. And then when you do the split shot, it would change the button into clean shot. And when you do the clean shot, it goes back to heated shot. So it just, instead of doing 1, 2, 3 and having, let's see, there's my mouse. So as you can see here on her thing, she has her layout set up so that, like, her main damaging attack is on C, and her AoE heal is on minus, and so on and so forth. Then you look up here, and she's got her basic attack right there, and then her basic heal on 2, and a big oh crap heal on 3. But on Machinist, it would be like heated shot, split shot, and clean shot. So basically it takes these 3 buttons and makes them one button, but you have to press it 3 times. And it very much reduces the button bloat in the game. And it's really, really necessary on things like Samurai, because it takes like 6 buttons and turns it into 2 buttons. Because those 2 buttons are for your Oka and your Sen combo.
And so I know that makes it less hype when you cannot actually watch all of the prog from the people that are going to win. But
there can only
they don't
be
really,
one.
like, I think they don't really have a ton of incentive to stream, because streaming is a disadvantage. It is.
Yes and no. It depends on your bandwidth and if you're actually going to be looking at the chat or how you have that labeled. Just in general, it's it can be and it can't be.
Is an inherent disadvantage if you can broadcast your strat that's working well, and maybe it's a strat that you came up with and other teams don't have the strat. Maybe there's a riddle
That's also
involved
true.
where you figured out the pieces of the puzzle and other people haven't yet. Like, this gives you a lot of a massive advantage over others, and so you can see why teams wouldn't want to just give that up for not a very good reason or not much reason. So
now this is just an aside, but so this is Zeppela's character right here on this chair. This is one of her friends or guildmates or somebody in town randomly just crafting right next to her in a giant fat chocobo head, where if you look at it on the face side, I can't rotate it because it's not my video or anything, but you see their eyes through the mouth of the chocobo head.
A lot of teams just don't have the necessary incentive that would be worth it to sacrifice that huge advantage that comes with not streaming it. And I think one of the main reasons for that is that the race is not funded by Square Enix. This is something
that's also true. Unlike World of Warcraft, Square Enix does not award prizes other than, like a little server check that, hey, your group cleared it first. In like the case of World of Warcraft, for example, the race to world first is heavily incentivized by Blizzard, and there's like monetary rewards. And in the case of this recent one, when, if I'm not mistaken, Echo won it, I'll have to double check that, but that's not as important. There was something like a $2 million prize, and they spent several $100,000 on WoW tokens buying gold to fund their endeavor for this process. So it's like, yeah, it's a thing
that people don't get. Like, the fact we had any kind of coverage at all is a miracle. Okay, like, players went out of their way to organize anything that we could. It was all like homebrew grassroots coverage that we did, and there was limited resources, obviously, so it wasn't able to be like a 24-hour thing all day every day until the clear. That's just
again, further context here. In this most recent race to world first, the World of Warcraft developers paid for people to stay in hotels and hired live casters like Preach, I don't remember if they hired Rich Campbell for this one. I don't want to put that out there if that's not correct, so ignore that. But they hired streamers to broadcast every pull, to broadcast every run, every split content, where they went to old raids and dungeons to get drops and gear and covenant power and things of that nature. So they it's a very big fundamental difference in something being community organized versus being organized by the developer.
It's not how it works. It's like players put it together, not Square Enix. And sometimes I wonder, like, I do feel like it would be really nice if Square Enix would consider sponsoring the World Race event, or at least like helping out with it somewhat instead. But I guess they're too busy selling off Tomb Raider and selling off their Western IPs right now for $300 million. They're too busy doing that to
So context here is Microsoft has made an offer on Blizzard Entertainment, and let's go ahead and move this here. That way I'm not covering Zeppela. But they basically sold their entire company for something like $600 million. I want to actually get that completely correct. So let's look that up real quick. I like to make sure that I cover my bases.
drop any money on the world.
Hey, I did not say minimize. I said pain in the ass. Google. How much did Microsoft buy Blizzard for? $68.7 billion. Wow. So $68.7 billion they spent on Activision and Blizzard Entertainment.
Race. So that's really a topic for another day.
Also, I find it weird that this lady is here in a cat suit.
It sure would be nice if they could put a little bit of money in the
But
race.
I mean, Zepp was
because
all about that
if they
kind of stuff,
did,
so, you know, it's not that
I mean,
weird.
maybe more people would feel like they had an incentive to actually stream it. Because now people are taking time off work to prepare. People are no-lifing the game during Prague. They actually have to take time off work to do this. I know, at least in the WoW race community, there's several competitive teams that they don't even want somebody on their team who has a normal day job because they could run out of vacation time.
That is very true. We're talking like these are people who are so dedicated to being the first that they get sponsorships and things of that nature, and you can't have a regular day job because you could be out of time and then you cause the whole guild to lose the race to world first
during the Prague and not be able to commit the ridiculous hours that's required for something like that. I know that TPS said that they now have to go casual because they ran out of paid time off. Now, this is from 20 hours ago. Yeah, if it's not today, it might be a while because paid time off is up for us.
Case in point, they're running out of vacation time and they can't compete anymore.
So, yeah, I mean, they have to sacrifice their paid time off for this as well. And now they have to go casual until they can clear because that's just how it is. So, yeah. Actually, you know...
I wanted to stop here for a second because that's the level of degenerate gaming that a lot of people get involved with, and I'm not okay with that. You should not be burning your vacation time to compete in a video game. You should be competing if that's your job. You should be competing if you plan on making that your job and you're getting rid of your other job. But you should not be burning off your vacation time to do a video game race.
I did try to find out how much money Activision Blizzard spends on sponsoring and promoting the world race for Mythic, for WoW. But then I remembered, oh wait, in WoW the players pay for it too.
To an extent, yes. Blizzard does do a lot of promotions and stuff like that, but it's that money is dwarfed, that Blizzard contributes is dwarfed in comparison to the amount that, say, Method or Limit or Echo or any of the, big four world first guilds get in sponsorships and advertisements and pays out in, rewards and things of that nature for helping them out.
Yeah, and WoW actually, the players pay for that too, because I remember reading. Actually, let me find it for you. Yeah. Mythic WoW race cost one team over $93,000. Oh, is that right?
Well,
yeah, that was.
That's a team spending that on WoW tokens and bind on equip gear and raid consumables and basically buying gold.
It was Team Liquid spent $93,000.
We're gonna go ahead and minimize that. I want to show you how much. Not Hoy. Oh god damn it! I am having typos like a mofo. How much did Echo spend on race to one first? So they're saying Echo spent 694 million gold. And you can see right here where it says Echo got first place. But that's 478 million gold. Hang on. Oh, no, that's all gold. I don't care about that. Let's do cash. I know Echo's a European guild, so it's not going to turn out for... Stop saying gold. I don't care about gold. Well, there you go. There's one from last year's Race to World First, where he admitted to that's limit again. Well, let's see. So if they spent 694 million gold, how much gold do you get for a WoW token? Let's do on average. So, 200,000 gold. Let's go ahead and pull a calculator. So, back. There we go. So, 694 million divided by 200,000. So they spent $3,470 just in WoW tokens. That's $3,500 just on paying for in-game currency that they were funneling. That's not including ads. That's not including the hotel where they put up Mike from Preach Gaming. That's not including food and all these other things. So that's $4,000 just so their team could have bind on equipped gear that was better than regular gear.
So I guess they must be getting sponsored by someone so that they can actually afford to spend this kind of cash, because they are spending it on potions, items, food that they need for raiding. Because for this one, Team Liquid spent 723 million gold. That's around 4,600 WoW tokens, which is equivalent to $93,000.
So they spent more than Echo, but they still lost. That's you have to question, was that worth it?
Dues. Yeah, it's the WoW tokens. I know that there was a comment made by one of the members of Pieces, who I think is no longer raiding in WoW, one of their competitive raid teams, who talked a little bit about how much Blizzard was actually paying them. And he said that this was Gurk. Let me show you the comment he made. Yeah, so Gurk said that...
Let's go ahead and read this before she gets too into it. Hey, Gurk here. I raid in Pieces, and this will be a long comment, TLDR at the end. Most of us have either regular jobs or study. We have very little people that can live off of streaming and playing the game. The hard time commitment is during the race. During farm, you get away with only logging in the evening. Castle Nathria, that was the raid that was before Sanctum of Domination, was my first race to World First, and I took a month off of university in December to participate. I basically tried to get as much work done prior to the race and struggled hard catching up after the race to World First was over. I basically no-lifed University WoW University for 3 months before things went back to normal. I don't think I've ever been as stressed out as I was after I was done with my exams that semester. It doesn't come as a surprise that quite a few players, even if they love what they're doing, can't manage to commit the time and step down from raiding after only playing a single tier. That's why guilds like Method and Echo and Limit have like massive teams of raiders. And if you make the cut, it's usually determined by basically the series of raids right before the patch drops where you can start racing. Different from what some comments say here, we don't really get paid, quote-unquote, to play here. As of right now, that's a dream, and our officers and staff are giving their best to maybe turn that dream into reality. We did get monetarily compensated for participating in the race, but WoW raiding teams have huge rosters, as I was just saying, and to put things into perspective, any temporary job I worked in the past would earn me that amount of money within a week of working full-time, instead of spending months and preparing and playing 24/7 for over a month. TLDR, 90% have regular jobs or study, but commit a lot of their private time to the game and take vacation to participate in day raiding whenever a new raid is out.
They did get compensated monetarily for participating in the race, but the teams have huge rosters, and so basically any temp job that he worked would earn him that amount of money within a week of working full-time.
When I say huge rosters, we're talking rosters of like 80 plus people. 80 to 120. Because you won't generally want to have 4 to 6 times the amount of people that the raid requires as your roster, and it determines based on which people in which raiding team get which drops as to who's going to be in the race to World First. Because the factors in clearing the content when there's no guides or anything for it is damage that you can deal, damage that you can take, and the amount that you can heal before the next mechanic. And so item level and gear power and art I forget what it is in Legion that the bar, or in Shadowlands, that what the borrowed power was, but it was something like not Azerite power, because that was Battle for Azeroth, but like Covenant Power or whatever the heck it's called. And so all those things have to be like completely capped out and on point for you to be considered for the WoW Raid team for a race to world first.
So it didn't seem like a ton, but someone in the comments a minute ago said that some of the teams are getting sponsored from other, like they're getting other kind of sponsorships that help support the crazy amount of money they have to drop on WoW tokens. It's just, okay. I don't want to get into a discussion about WoW tokens. All I wanted to really talk about was how world races are funded and how maybe it would be a good idea if...
Speaking of sponsorships, it's just an ancillary comment that popped in my brain when she mentioned that. Mr. Rich Campbell himself, who had 3 sponsorships for Genshin Impact, which is a gacha game, is still behind on the amount of money he put into Genshin Impact, even though he got 3 sponsorships from them. That's just absolutely hilarious to me. I never do any of that pay-to-win bullshit.
Square Enix put a little bit of money in the world race. Okay, that's the main thing that I wanted to say, because it's a massive time investment. Players taking time off work. Players no life in the game for a week or more. Right now, I am I'm restraining myself from going off on a tangent about WoW Token and how I'm not going to do that, because I wanted to talk about Ultimate today. I want to talk about the Ultimate World Race because it seems like, from what I understand, there is a lot of harassment now being directed at TPS. There is plenty of people who are harassing TPS to the point that some members of the Neverland team have had to speak out and say, hey, please don't shit or flame TPS. This Ultimate is fucking brutal on consistency. We love TPS as a team.
I don't know who TPS is. Let's find out. Turn to the old Google. Oh, okay. It's a raid team in FF14. We have discovered our answer. Goes to show you I don't really follow a lot of this competitive stuff.
Look, this is horrible that somebody has to come out and say this.
Discover a world of add-ons for World of Warcraft.
No,
when you
not
play,
discovering a
you
world of add-ons. I forgot I haven't
That
installed
wasn't the
Adblocker
only
yet.
case. And yeah, it is absolutely brutal on consistency. In fact, I think that's the exact same thing that we saw Sfia say. He said the fight is brutal on consistency. We couldn't play well enough consistently enough to grab the win. Got to work harder for next time. And let me tell you something about Sfia. Whenever I first had to flee my house in Ukraine, when all of this...
This is what I was telling you about how she had to flee Ukraine. If I'm not mistaken, she's somewhere in Germany now. But, so, just bear in mind, she's going through a lot of shit.
When the war started and I was terrified and I didn't know where to go, Sfia was one of the first people that wrote me and contacted me and offered me help. And I will never forget that. I will never forget that. They said, because it didn't clear 6 hours ago, casual gamers till it's down. Cheers to those of you supporting us. It means a ton to the team. So please, yeah, go out there and support TPS and encourage them.
TPS would be thoughts per second. That's the name of their raid team.
Because it's rough to no life and try so hard and not get that win that they had really been hoping for. I know that another member of TPS did say that He said, I'll go over later why we lost, but I'll go with the TLDR now. Real reason. Wasn't able to play consistently for a long time given such an intense fight. Just bad play. Salty reasons. Spending over 12 hours trying to clear twice. / tinfoil harsh front. Because we didn't want to tank Elvin.
So, one of the things in this ultimate raid is if you play Final Fantasy XIV like I do, on the way up to the boss fight in the vault that leads to the original bit that leads to the end of the Dragon Song War, Harchifant is murdered by one of the Knight's 12. And I say murdered, but he basically sacrificed himself for your character. He jumps in front of you with his little aluminum shield, and he tries to block an energy beam and manages to save you, but he gets stabbed through the heart in the process. And as he lays dying in your arms, he's the only guy who was initially nice to you at the start of the Heavensward expansion, and he's a much beloved character up until he gets killed, and now everybody memes on him all the time. But so in this raid, you have to. It's altering time, and this was the revisionist history that I was talking about. Is in this ultimate, you have to save him and keep him alive, because you're going through an alternate timeline, as it were. Now here's the thing. He has absolutely no health. He is squishy as a mofo, and so anytime he's about to be, or there's a big war, they would burn off a tank limit break to give everybody in the arena massive damage reduction, including Harchifant.
So you can see just from the tweet, like, it's when they were so close to getting world first, it's just really devastating because the fight it's very, very, very challenging and mentally exhausting and difficult to go through something like that. And so when I heard that some people were going out of their way, cruel to the DPS members, it made me so mad.
This is not additional context, this is just general observation. Trash talk is one thing, but going out of your way to be mean and spiteful and harass other people is not okay. You need to stop that shit. Don't do it. It is a terrible way to be, and if you do that, you are a terrible human being.
There were people saying that, oh, they were just posting those little teaser clips to taunt people. And there's people that have been accusing them of cheating, and it makes me sick, honestly. And these people who are saying this are so full of shit as well, because you know that the same people saying that, they were the first to click on those clips, those prog clips, as soon as they showed up on the Radiance Twitter. They were the...
I find that to be generally true, yes. A lot of the people complaining are the ones consuming the content. They're the ones who are like, oh yeah, go for it, give me this clip. Spoil all the content. I don't care. And when the person gets an outcome that's different than what they desired, they immediately start flaming people, and that's also not okay.
First people who were like, oh, I can't wait to see where they're at. You know, like, these people can't win for losing. It's like, if they won, people would say, oh, they were cheating. If they lost, people shit on them. So I think that the prog clips did make it more fun. Have made it more fun. It's a nice little peek into what they were doing. And
generally speaking, I agree with that. If you're doing like content where it's like a race to world first, you do see all prog being progression rating, where you go through and you learn the mechanics and what? I'm busy. You want me to go look and see if you have food? Is that it? I'll do that in a minute when I finish this React video. Pixie, why aren't you helping me? But so, as I was saying, it's you don't want to go too far in it because if you're doing a strategy that you don't know everybody else has seen yet, you don't want to give away the competitive edge to your teammates or to your competition.
And actually, I saw this another tweet. This is a very underrated tweet about this. Someone said, "This is the most underrated tweet of the century." Somebody said,
You want that piece, though?
"People shitting on TPS right now are the same people who join clear parties when they don't know anything."
There's... what? If you want pets, you gotta get on my lap. I guess you don't want pets. But as I was saying, there is a problem in Final Fantasy where people will join a pug or public user group where they have no idea what the mechanics of the fight are or anything like that, which is fine if you're going in a learning group. But if you're going in a know the fight, this is a parse run, you know, no noobs please group, which people frequently join into because they're buttholes, you will wipe the group and it will be a bad time.
This is so true. This is the truest thing I've ever seen written on Twitter. These are the same people who couldn't tell a stack marker from a hole in their ass. And they're sitting on Twitter with their greasy like, pizza fingers and like, oh, well, maybe you should have tried harder. Let me get...
Yeah, I gotta disagree with the broad categorization of people in general here. I mean, yeah, there's obviously, like, you know, the incel Reddit neckbeard types who make hateful comments, but there's also people who are just hateful in general, even though publicly, you know, they're as clean as Zeppela's character here. You know, oh, look, I'm a fancy, respectable white mage, but I'm going to post hateful comments. Not that Zeppela does that, mind you. I'm not saying that. But it cuts both ways.
Back to my P1S prog. Yeah, but look, it's like my grandma said. It's like my grandma always used to say, you best get glad in the same britches that you got mad in. You need a little attitude adjustment if you find yourself wanting to taunt or harass or shit on people that are doing right. But honestly, it's just, that is something that just makes it really hard to exist as a public figure on the internet at all.
I'm not really a public figure level yet. My father is, but I'm not trying to, you know, do a Draco Malfoy. My father will hear about this. No, that's not a thing. But being a public figure in general, internet or no, is always going to invite a certain amount of discourse and hate from those who disagree with you. It's when it crosses the line between you know, hatred into personal attacks and threats that you have a problem.
I can tell you that from personal experience. Like, people see anything at all that they can criticize, the bigger the better, and they'll come after you with guns blazing just because they can. Like, they're always looking for something to whine about. Oh, hey, is it true? I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true. Is it true that Sphia promised to go clear Heroic Jailer if they lost? Is that...
Well, if that is true, then he's in for a hell of a long ride. Because he's going to have to... From what I understand, he doesn't have a World of Warcraft character. So he's going to have to create a new character, level it up, gear it, which is going to be another thing, and then go do a heroic raid that he has no knowledge of.
Is that real? Chat, please tell me it's real. Please tell me it's real. Oh no.
Oh, apparently it is true, according to her chat.
You should, y'all should donate to Svea so that he can buy some WoW tokens. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
I just gotta highlight this chat here because there is a group of people who do raids in maid outfits in Final Fantasy XIV. One of the people who's an alternate in my raiding static does this. His character is a female cat girl, a female Makote. And every raid he does, no matter what job, he glams it into a maid outfit. And that's what he does the raid in.
But big grats to Neverland. I'm really, really happy for them. I know they're happy too. It's EU players and NA players. It's a mixture of EU and NA, so that's cool.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it there. I don't care about her outro. Now I will say, as is obligatory on any React video, go ahead and throw a watch or a like to Zepla. Counteract the fact that I'm streaming it to you right now. We'll go back to the homepage. There's Dex, who